Hello and welcome to Kump, coming to you live from the ever-rising epidemic outbreak in New York City. Exciting. It's an exciting time to be alive. It's an exciting time to die. I mean, I could die in so many unflattering ways. I could die just from a heart attack while eating a cheesesteak, not even a true Philly cheesesteak, which I've never had. I've never had a a proper one. And the reality is I've had cheesesteaks, right? And I've had some shitty ones. I've had ones that, these are pretty good. I don't know. I've never been with Geno's or the other one. I mean, I just couldn't tell you. I don't know if I'll die. That's the thing. It's like, you've had pizza, but have you had New York pizza? Now, I'll tell you, as a guy who grew up in New York, or Long Island, and then live in New York now, it may not make much difference. You can get great pizza at a lot of places. You get shitty pizza in New York. Now, yeah, I mean, I'm sure who knows? It's also, these stereotypes a lot of times go back 30 years. What's it like now? So I don't know if I've had a proper cheesesteak, and I might never will. Might die of some kind of, that's just one thing. So, but my point is that I would die eating a not Philly cheesesteak, like a cheesesteak from a diner, just with a heart attack. Or I would fall down the stairs drunk, or I would hit my head on a door jamb. I've told people multiple times, about. See, I worked at the morgue. In case you didn't know that, I used to work at a morgue as a photographer. And one thing that struck me was just how resilient the human body can be, and simultaneously how fragile it could be, right? So, the kind of, because you'd see people who'd like hit their head on a door jamb. Like, they're walking, they live in a basement apartment maybe, and they're running down the stairs. And they hit their, I have done that before. People do it all the time. And this guy died from it. He got like some kind of contusion, became a blood clot, lodged up in his heart, or something like that. I mean, am I a doctor? Almost. I'm almost a doctor, but I'm not quite. So I can't really rule on his cause of death per se, but it was definitely that. And my point is, most people don't die from that, but you could. And I would. I haven't died yet. But I'd rather it be that, whatever that is. Stabbed by a hooker. Just hit by a bus. I mean, are they more exciting? Or would it be better to be part of a pandemic crowd? Remains to be seen. Probably not going to die here. I have a destiny to die being clubbed to death with a hammer by a banker. I feel like in the uprising that will probably follow this whole pandemic, where we finally the people go after these fucking white collar criminals and these moneyed families and these fucking aristocrats and these fucking that. We'll all be like meleeing, and we'll be storming Goldman Sachs, and we'll be fucking tearing down we got a bulldozer. Maybe we commandeer that Navy hospital boat, and we bulldoze the New York Stock Exchange with it. But like, I'll be one of like the fraction of people on our side who like just gets murked by a banker. Because everyone likes to pretend like oh, bankers are soft. It's like, yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of them are just alpha guys who, they're not all bitches, not all pussies. Some of them will fucking, and one of them is going to hit me in the face of a hammer as we're getting our righteous. I mean, it's one thing to be part of a mob mentality, a mob strike against the rich, and to be gunned down by the police or the military. That's noble enough. That's part of the game. That's, it's like the Somme in World War I. Well, actually, it's not, because the Somme in World War I, everyone died for no reason. They just kept sending wave after wave into the trench, or out of the trenches, into the no man's land or whatever they called it, and getting gunned down before they even got halfway towards the other side. And that's the Somme. But the point, so in this case, it's more like you'd be dying for a call. But anytime you storm a fucking facility when it's just a mass of people storming an embassy or storming, you've seen it. I mean, I don't know exactly how Iran went down in 79, but I believe it was some kind of storm. I mean, they climbed the walls. But some people got shot. I mean, those Marine Guards. I'm sure they shot some people. I mean, sometimes they're worried to, start a big international incident by shooting the people. But you're storming a country, technically. The weird thing about our world is that, you can just create a little bit, America, it's like 3,000 miles that way. But also, it's a little fucking, however big, this little campus, this little mini college campus is also America. Point is, they shot people. And I'd be the guy. I wouldn't be the guy shot by the cops, though. I'd be clubbed to death by a Wall Street banker. I would just be some guy with red suspenders and a striped dress shirt, and he has those white collars, those collars that aren't part of the shirt. Where do you get those? They don't have them at the Caraco suits that I go to. At least the Italian guy who sells me the suit won't show me. Never offers them. I don't think Caraco has those kind of shirts. Maybe they do. Maybe they probably have ones that are look like that, but they're still one shirt. You need a separate collar and separate sleeves, and they don't have buttons. The cufflinks are there because you don't have buttons, right? I read a book about haberdasheriness years ago. I started wearing blazers that I bought at the thrift store. With the Salvation, not a fucking Brooklyn thrift store, and a Long Island thrift store. They're the size of fucking a Caldors. Well, that's an old reference, but they're the size of a supermarket, basically. They're big. And there's aisle after aisle of probably bed bugs. I never had bed bugs, though. And I would buy from these stores. And I'd buy a mustard blazer or a burgundy blazer. And I'd wear them. When I went to go photograph weddings and Sweet 16s, which was fun because I wasn't the one booking the client usually. My DJ boss was, and he was, he knew what he was doing. He had a nice house in a nice area, and he had a porch, and people would come, and he had a fireplace, and he'd sit for hours with these people. I had no patience for this. I would be strung out and Adderall in the basement, fucking, trying to edit pictures, but then, just fucking jerking off, probably, who knows. Just fucking not getting. I didn't have to focus at the time, but he would book them. So I'd show up, and they'd be like, "He's like, oh, this guy's great." And I was good. I was a good photographer, very skilled, and I was a little abrasive. But for the good of the picture, because you don't. I've seen plenty of look. It's a bunch of yahoos, a bunch of cowboys. I've seen plenty of them try to take a picture, pretend to be a photographer. My point. And they show you a picture, and it's like, this guy's got red eye. Red eye? Who the fuck has red eye in a professional photo? But also, even if he wasn't in red eye, he's looking the other way. It doesn't matter. The point is, I was wearing these blazers. I was wearing this shit. I show up, and I'm just, in a fucking mustard blazer, but also, some Walmart black pants and shirt. Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of money on this party. Probably not. I know what they spend. It wasn't that much. So, whatever. I'm not going to feel too bad. And I gave them good pictures. Maybe a few months later than they wanted them. Took a while to get your pictures, but they were good. They were much better than you paid for. So, the customer experience wasn't the best, but I gave a good product. Is what it is. Because do I regret it? Yeah, I regret that. Being in the middle of a pandemic, I regret that. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Mr. Klawowski, that it took an extra month to get your dumb daughter her sweet. She couldn't put them on Facebook. I'm gonna die in a Corona fat accident, but I'm sorry. I regret that. Time to make amends. So, how do we get on that tangent? It doesn't matter. The point is, it's rising. We're up to I don't think it's 50K yet in New York or the tri-state area, but it's 45, 47, I think. We got 1,500 deaths or something. It's not at the apex yet. We're not quite there. It's going to be a couple of weeks. So, pretty far, actually. I mean, in the grand scheme, we might become mole people. So in the grand scheme of timeline, yeah, it's pretty quick. But, it feels like forever. So we're going to have a lot more people die. And it is what it is. I'm not panicking, people. Could be young. I don't know what you people are doing out there. You're playing soccer. You're hanging out at parks. I mean, you're morons. Clearly. I mean, that's fine. But this is why I don't understand this clamor for, like the only argument for healthcare, really, there should be. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Bernie guy. I love Bernie. I love give people the healthcare. Sure, I'm for it. But then you look at the people. And is it all the people? No, but it's enough of them. And they're just, it's us. We're as a people not that smart. It has something to do with the brainwashing, probably. Or it's something to do with the fucking fact that we're the yahoos that left Europe or wherever. For the whites. Black people often were slaves. So I'm not going to give you the burden of this. And, the people of the tribes of Native, they don't like Native American. I don't know what's the right thing to say. Native American isn't right anymore. The tribe, people of 1,000 tribes, I don't know. You know who I'm talking about. Wasn't your fault either. They're probably going like, yeah, we went through this ourselves a couple 100 or 400. I don't know when the genocide of the disease happened with them, but they got wiped out pretty hard. Way more than this. I think 95% of them got wiped out in the first 50 years or 100 years after we first Europeans landed here. So bad news. Just from our viruses and shit. I don't know if it was the plague or smallpox. I think a lot of it was smallpox, right? Anyway, they cured smallpox. I guess a lot of people had immunity at that point. Did they cure it in this century? I guess I don't know. I'm not a virologist. I don't know. The point is, what was the point? It's getting bad. It is what it is. Oh yeah, because we're yahoos. We're yahoos who came here, and we're also brainwashed. Probably starting in around the early 20th century, like hardcore brainwashing. By just giving them radio and then TV and like fucking sugar and fat, and then the propaganda industry, the public relations industry, and it's just kowtowing to it. And then World War II, and then and they have this whole hey, we're gonna, create this myth of American exceptionalism, and we're all just ate it up like idiots instead of just being like, fuck you, this is my land, and I'm going to shoot the tax. We used to be a country that would shoot the tax man. What happened to that? Everyone hates the people who were fucking not paying their taxes. And I get it. They're rich and they should. And they're making corporate welfare off of it. So, I get it. But the instinct to not pay taxes is American. It's aggressive. It's probably not the most conducive to a nice society. But, that's how we were raised. Well, not raised. We weren't raised that way, but our country was raised that way. We're a country of just selfish yahoos. And that's what made it. If there was American exceptionalism, it was that. It was a guy like Andrew Jackson just going after the central bank. I'm not sure if he did it for the right reasons. If you don't know, there was the first central bank of the first, I think, the Bank of the United States, I think it was called. That was started by Alexander Hamilton. And that lasted, give or take, 20 years. I think it just went insolvent. I think it was just insolvency. I don't think there was there might have been some pressure of why are we supporting this bank? It's not doing well. I forget the exact. Then another one started around I'm gonna guess 1820s. And it was the second bank of the United States, central bank, basically. I'm not sure what made it not a central bank. I think it was. I think they just considered it a central bank. And that lasted a couple decades, I think. Andrew Jackson went after it, but I don't know if he did it for libertarian hard money reasons. I think he just didn't either bankers were all Jews, and he was anti-Semitic or something he was a crazy genocidal maniac. Yes, he fought the banks. I don't know if we should lionize him. It's like if you went after the bank as a school shooter, we wouldn't give that guy credit for shooting up Goldman Sachs. Some of you would, and that's the problem. He's fucking armchair socialists, armchair Bolsheviks who think like to talk shit. Where's your gun? Who are you fighting? If these socialist kids, if these real, I don't mean people who like Bernie or people who like AOC. I'm talking about the ones I mentioned last week with the guillotine talk and the fucking and unabashed, like they're actually Soviet or Leninist at least, which is still Soviet, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Stalinism but they were Soviet, whatever. Maybe Stalin. Who knows how to distinguish it? Point is, you're not putting no one in a guillotine. If you were a bunch of fucking Long Island Italian maniacs, with quote unquote guinea teas. What's the real? Haynes calls them an A shirt, but they call them guinea teas, and or wife beaters. If those guys are all just fat, they got hoagies, and they're just fucking talking about putting, running over the head of Goldman Sachs with their fucking with their Firebird, with their Charger. Put them on my. I'm not gonna do an Italian accent, but you get the idea. Just a bunch of drunk, like Fat Nick, that racist guy who beat up the black guy who killed him or just beat him half to death because he was breaking into his car. Yeah, if they were socialists, sure. If they were Leninists, I'd go, oh, you got, all right. This is a counterpoint to the American narrative. This is something that, like, hey, if we don't, figure shit out, or not we, if you bankers and you fucking aristocrats, you plutocrats, you politicians don't, shore up society a bit and get people health care, you got Fat Nick is going to fucking, he's going to give you some health care in the head. I'd understand that threat. I'd be like, oh, yeah, these are bruisers. But the people I see couldn't even lift a baseball bat to hit the fucking head of Goldman Sachs in the head. They just don't have it in them. These aren't ferocious people. I would just, if they came at me, I would grab them by the face and just put their head into a wall. Like, I have no doubt. I mean, I'm not a fit guy, but I have enough power. I'm not going to fight a UFC guy. But one of these kids, I'll fucking tear them apart. And I'm not the guy fighting them. They're fighting, like, Navy SEALs and the Army Corps of Engineers. What are you talking about? Shut up with the guillotine talk. Anyway, that's the point, is that we're corrupt people, and the people who aren't corrupt are pretty weak. And that's the dynamic that they've established. It's like Hannity and Combs on Fox News. It's, they would have, Hannity was, and look, everyone likes to think they could tear apart Hannity. I feel like I could tear apart Hannity, not physically, I probably could, but I'm talking about, like, in a debate. And it's possible I could. But but he has gravitas. And he's better than you think at this. And also, it's his show, right? Like, he's got the dynamic of, to turn your mic off and they fuck around with you, whatever. Point is, so he's not fucking Winston Churchill, but he's, a guy. And his show, I mean, not anymore, but it was originally Hannity and Combs was like this guy who was on a respirator. He was the liberal guy. And there's just some guy who was, like, literally dying of anemia, just going, can we please just not kill babies? And Hannity would just start hitting him in the ass. He would just start fucking hit a spike, like one of those things you hit logs in the fire with that poker. He's just poking him in the dick. He's just trying to shove this big spike into Combs' dick, little dick hole. And it was embarrassing. And that's the dynamic of these, like, fucking guillotine socialists with, the Army Corps of Engineers, anyone who works at Goldman Sachs. I mean, it's a tough, aggressive, competitive job. Most of these people, I know some of them, they couldn't hold a real job to save their life. I mean, look, I'm not saying all people who don't have jobs are weak, but these people are weak. Trust me. I'm not making blanket statements. I'm making informed statements about the weakness of they're just not. They're not who you want to throw down. You don't want them having your back in a fight. You're gonna end up just sucking their dick just to impress the fucking warlord that's trying to kill you all. Like, I'll suck this weak guy's dick, and then because he can't suck your dick, his mouth's broken already because he fucking fell. Tripped over a rock trying to run away, and he's got no mouth anymore. So I gotta suck his dick to impress a warlord. It's just a terrible situation. Moving on from. Here's the thing. A lot of you guys give me shit sometimes about conspiracy. Call me a liberal, SJWRA for the old school fans. Because always jump in to every fucking conspiracy right away. Because I'm a goddamn professional. All right? You guys are just out there talking about freedom you're losing, or like the Chinese made this virus, or like this is a population control. Nonsense. Nonsense. All right? That doesn't make any sense. Where's the play? Where's the hook? Where's the game? There isn't one. Until this week. We're all kind of batting down the hatches, right? We're all, not all of us, but most of us are staying inside. We're doing the right thing. We're trying to do the right thing. We're all getting used to being quarantined. And what does Trump finally do? Because Trump is, he turned around a little bit, right? He's calling this virus a hoax a month ago. He's lying his ass off every other day, downplaying it. Didn't order enough testing. I mean, it's criminal shit. Criminal shit. But then he had a good few days. He invokes the Defense Production Act, or he passes it at least, signs it. I don't know how it works. I know he's not using it, but he passed it. And Ilhan Omar is even going, Trump's doing a good job. We got credit where credit's due. I mean, unprecedented that Ilhan Omar would and I'm not saying she believed it, but he was doing the moves where the other side has to at least give him credit. Because you can't, that's good politics. When you get someone in a corner where you go, hey, I'm curing baby cancer. Wait, are you against curing baby cancer? And they have to be and that's not a Trump impression. That's just a weird thing. Are you against curing baby cancer with your dick? And they have to go, no, I guess that's you curing baby cancer. You put him in a corner, right? It's a good move. I mean, he's a political genius, but not on that level usually. Usually his political genius is just bringing rape victims onto a stage and I have a debate. And going your husband raped these women. Case closed. And it was pretty smart. And he had some other, he talked about, the stimulus, which is now not particularly geared towards people, but we thought people would get more. It seemed like they were going to do more for the people. Maybe give people a rent freeze, at least in New York City. They don't seem to give a shit. The point is, people are starting to turn around. I think his approval is always going to be at least one. His approval ratings were, pretty high for relatively. And he was doing good politics, let's just say. And then he comes out this week saying that, this economy can't, the cure can't be worse than the disease. And that we need to get the American people out of their house by Easter, which is 3 weeks away. Which, flies in the face of every scientist. It goes, you just got, there were a few holdouts, sure, but you just got most people to get on board with how serious this is. And now you're just kind of doing a complete 180 with no backing. Even the administration, mixed signals. And no one really understands why. It seems crazy. It seems out of left field. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you. Here's the game. Here's the hook. Here's the angle. They got a cure. They're going to cure this thing on Easter. They're going to put it in the holy water. They're going to put it in the crackers. They're going to put it on the priest's dick. Make you suck it off. This has been engineered not by the U.S. government, not by China, by the Vatican. They know. They know there's not an indefinite... Look, how much longer were the people going to put up with children being raped by priests? 10 years? 20 years? 50 years? Maybe 100? At best, they have 100 years of still being allowed to fuck children in the ass inside of a church and no one really holding them to account for it. Yeah, they when they're 75, maybe they get indicted. But they're allowed to spend decades fucking kids. But that can only last another century at this rate. So the Pope, they got this Pope in, right? This Pope doesn't seem like he fucks kids. He doesn't even like touching people. Well, it was old people. He smacked an old lady. We talked about this a few weeks ago. He smacked a woman who grabbed him. You shouldn't grab. I mean, would you grab the president? He's not going to cure you. Have you seen Mother Teresa? She's a saint. She didn't cure those people. She fucking just held their hand while they died. Why do you think the Pope's going to cure your arthritis, you dumb idiot? But, you know, he smacks people. He's a little testy. So they get this guy who seems like a man of the people. Excuse the noise. Look, it's my Diet Coke break. Yeah. Back in the bottle. No more can. Get that pressure in your chest. That chest pressure. You feel like you're dying for a minute. And you get that gas bubble. And I'm alive. It's the only way I know I'm alive anymore. So the point is, they get this guy who's not particularly, like, the old Pope just seemed like he was the Don. Like the fucking, like some mafia Don who was just in charge of, like, the Las Vegas of kids fucking. He just has a creepy look, a creepy vibe, a creepy jowls. This guy, yeah, he's an old guy. No one wants to fuck this guy, but talks about, like, gay people are okay. And, you know, we should do more for the poor. I mean, what's he actually done? What's he actually achieved and accomplished? I don't know. I mean, I think it's like, hey, gay people shouldn't be stoned to death, but they won't go to heaven. Is probably his stance, if you look into it deep enough. But that's enough to freak the fuck out Catholics. Trust me, I've talked to them and my family. They don't like him. They think he's a fucking crook, or he's out to steal the afterlife from Catholic. I don't know. I don't know what it's all magic. I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna steal your wizard wand. Anyway, excuse me, a little gas from the. Sometimes the Diet Coke gas comes back up. That's just the nature. Much like a conspiracy, sometimes, you know, Howard Hunt on his deathbed says a few things, and no one seems to care, so it doesn't matter, and no one cares that I burped a little from my Diet Coke. Apropos. Point is, they know they got to get their house in order a bit. So, Italy is the epicenter. I mean, yeah, China at first, but they got missionaries in China. I don't know how many Catholics there are in China. There's probably millions. There's so many people in China that, like, even though most people aren't. I mean, let's Google this. How many Chinese Catholics? I mean, you would think the communist government wouldn't allow it. But they have Muslims, right? It's something with a W. I forget the name, but they're all putting it in re-education camps. I don't know what they do to the Catholics. How many Catholics are in China? Answer me. What? Yeah, look, Jesus. The Pew Center estimates in 2011 there are 9 million Catholics on the mainland. 5.7 million of whom are affiliated with the I don't know what the CPA is. Point is, see, that's more than you thought. So there was 9 million, 10 million, almost. 10 million people in China. They got a network. They can fucking make things happen. There's 10 million Catholics in the middle of this fucking, and I don't mean this in the way of, like, you know, I was going to say godless. I mean, I think they are like an atheist. The government's like officially atheist, right? Communism doesn't really go along. I don't know the relationship of religion to communism in China. I don't want to speak out of school here, but I don't think they embrace Jesus on a national level. I mean, 10 million out of, 1.7 billion ain't much, so I don't know. Point is, the Catholic Church easily could have gotten to Wuhan, gotten this virus out, and then it leaks all over Italy. Who's going to Italy now? What's going on in the Vatican right now? No one's in the Vatican. Who's in the Vatican besides the Pope and this gaggle of kids? And some cardinals who were, doing a bunch of butt stuff, or that's cliche. They're just pouring Eucharist wafers into each other's. They're like cutting holes. They're cutting those holes like that Jesus had when he fucking like made the apostles put their hands in his wound. We talked about this a week or two ago. The Longus lance, right? The wound from the lance. That's the thing. Like later on in one of the part of the gospel or whatever, he makes the apostles who don't believe him, maybe doubting Thomas. I don't remember. But he goes, hey, give me a hand. Give me a hand. You think I'm alive? Give me a hand. And he fucking shoves his hand inside of him. Kind of a weird move. But, if you need that to prove you're alive. I've never had to prove my status as a living person. I've never had to shove another man's hand inside me. But, in some cultures that might be endearing. That might be, how you show respect is by, grabbing a man's hand and shoving it up your ass, like forcibly fisting yourself with a man's hand. I mean, I've heard in Dallas that's a big thing. I've heard in Kentucky, Staten Island, Long Island, not all of Long Island, but where I grew up, it was common. Felt common to me. Point is, that's what the Cardinals are doing. That's what the Cardinals are doing to each other, right? They're fisting each other in their wounds. But yeah, no one's in the Vatican. No one knows what they're doing. They're plotting, they're scheming, they're setting up fucking new orgy centers around the world. This is all because what's gonna happen? You're gonna go to church if you're Catholic on Easter, right? It's been coordinated with Trump. You're gonna dip your hand in this holy water and it's gonna fucking vaccinate you or something. Or you're gonna eat this host and it's gonna have a vaccine. I mean, is that how vaccines work? Sure. No. But sure. I don't know. They'll figure it out. Because the whole point, they made it, they'll figure out how to cure it. And no one's gonna say dick about them with the kids anymore. They're gonna be in their ivory tower. St. Peter's. Why can't I? There's no rhyme or reason to the words. I think they have R's in them. St. Peter's Basilica. Jesus. Someone should shoot me just for that. That's how I want to die. Being shot in the mouth. Because when I say St. Peter's, it's just so enraging to a man with a gun. And he just, like a cop, just shoots me in the street. Because I ask him, do you know where St. Peter's Basilica is? And he just shoots me in the mouth. Like one of those shots that goes right into the back of my throat. And the bullet lodges in my throat. And I'm just trying to cough a bullet up. Like a 22. I mean, cops don't carry 20. It's his throwdown pistol. It's some old school cop with a throwdown pistol on his ankle, and it was a 22, and just shoots me with that and lodges in my back. And it feels like I'm dying. I'm bleeding internally, but it feels like I could cough it up, and I can't. It's a small bullet. I used to shoot 22s in Boy Scouts. They were small bullets, very small, with rifles, not with handguns. That'd been great if they just gave us 22 handguns, was like fucking running around like little mob kids. But yeah, I mean, that's the conspiracy I get down with, is that the Vatican is behind this. And it gels with every other conspiracy that we've ever discussed, because what's the epicenter of it? Again, shoot me in the mouth. Epicenter. This show should just be me reading from a dictionary with a fucking gun to my head. And it lasts as long as I last. That would be great. I mean, look... What's Brad Pitt doing for you? What's Timothée Chalamet doing for you? That would be entertainment. Monetize me. Make me, put money in my ass and a gun to my head. What are we doing here? I have talents that will work in the new wasteland of America. You can't just, show people a rom-com anymore. You need people to be rooting for me to die. That is the new America. Come on. I'm a charming enough figure that people won't be like, it'll take them a while, right? It's a slow burn. Well, you show them the guy with who is that guy? Martin Shkreli? Or Shkreli? How do you say his? I don't know. The guy who was like juking up the price of EpiPens, I think it was, or some other drug. And everyone hates that guy. They immediately just shoot him. Me, it's going to take a little time. They're not going to like me at first. But you show me reading a pamphlet. It's like, this is a strange show. Who is this guy? And I'm a little effusive and I'm charming. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. And people kind of like me. But as they hear me saying R words gradually, they'll want me to die. Because at first, there'll always be a gun to my head. But they'll be like, why is there a gun to his head? I mean, he's fat. He's a little weird looking beyond the fatness. And why is he always wearing a hat? Because I have great hair, that's why. And he's always wearing the same shirt. But it doesn't feel like he should be murdered for that. That's day one. That's episode 1. But by episode 7, at least half the people are like they'll have little voting. You text, and there'll be a scale, and I don't know. There'll be algorithms. I'm not saying it's not you can't just buy a bunch of cell phones. Don't think you can juke the system. All right, just give me a fair execution if it happens, and there'll be algorithms, and you're gonna bot your way to killing me. No bots. We're gonna figure out a way to get rid of bots before we start this show, because I'm not gonna be killed by a bot. But I will be killed by the will of the people. I'll be murdered by the will of the people righteously, and my brains will fall on, and I'll have some kind of nice, they'll have a canvas, like it's on the left side of my head. The gun's on the right side, the canvas is on the left side, and then the brain splatter, or spatter, the blood spatter, as they call it. It's called spatter. Even though it splatters, they call it spatter. I mean, I don't even know how these words originate. Point is, that'll be worth something. That'll be, that's when Fat Ray Kump was murdered. That's the blood spatter. This is literally the blood. It's great. Point is, just shove some money in my ass. This is how the Catholic Church gets back in the good graces, because they cured everyone of coronavirus, of COVID-19. And that some priest is going to make you, suck the vaccine off his dick. Now, it would seem strange. This is the thing. This is how it works. You people just want to jump in immediately. Was 9/11 faked? Yeah, probably. Yeah, so keep it in a flux. What are you going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? I mean, it informs our view of the world, right? But unless you're starting an army, and no shooters, no lone shooters, fuck you. Not doing anything. All you're doing is just hurting people, murdering people. You're agitating people. That's not the move. That's not the move. Oswald was fake. Sirhan was a Manchurian candidate. Mark David Chapman just hated the Beatles. None of this stuff is it's not how you make change. But if you had an army, sure. An army, starting a Blackwater is different than not a racist army, not the Klan. You yahoos who fucking, again, I'll talk about this again. You fucking, these militias who defend racist statues. It's because you think of anything more useless, even if you were racist. The Taliban, they're bad, but they also provide, let's go Hezbollah, right? Was it Hezbollah or Hamas? Hamas, yeah, they were a terrorist outfit. Now, you say they're freedom fighters, and I say to you, yeah, that's the thing. That's not always the case. I mean, there's never terror. I mean, the Klan was. That's the problem calling the Klan terrorists. It's not that they're any better than terrorists, and they are terrorizing people. But it's just feels different. It feels like they're just evil racists. They feel worse than terrorists. Terrorists, I don't always put in the worst category. Because they got. Do I agree with killing civilians? No, but it's just what are we doing with our army? We're not killing civilians? Come on. So my point, but in the Klan, you're all right, they're shooting. It's race motivated. This is bad. This is real bad. I don't like it. So whatever. The point is, though, I'm talking about those things. So Hamas, they provide services, right? They provide aid and fun, whatever, food, make a little shit pipe, water pipe, little plumbing, I don't know. They did stuff, and they ingratiate, and they get in. They do, and they accomplish, and they do rocket strike. Well, they did. I mean, I don't know. But Hamas is still, Israel still calls them terrorists. I don't know if they are. Whatever. The point is, but these yahoos, these fucking militias in America, what are they doing? They just want to defend racism. Why is it the only time people pick up a gun is for racist reasons? Besides the cops and the military, but those are also racist, but in a different way. I'm saying, why can't people get motivated just to lower the taxes? Or the fucking, hey, get some health care. Why can't we get health care? Or why can't militia just try to close a loophole, a tax loophole? So that fucking, some corporation can't offshore into the Caymans or wherever, or Delaware. Delaware is a very common domestic tax haven, because I think, at least for a while, there was no income tax or corporate tax or something. There's a whole book about offshoring. There's one thing. Delaware, a lot of corporations are actually, what's the word? incorporated in Delaware. Fun fact. The corporate offices. So point is, these militias, how did we get into militias? Because we were talking about the church. I don't know. But the point is, these priests are going to give you the cure to corona. Oh, right. Because it was 9/11 fake. Yeah, man, what are you going to do about it? No. So my point is, you don't have to, lock everything down the first week. The people who were clamoring about thermite paint on September 12th, 2001, shut up. People, can we, we'll figure out who did this. Can we get this fucking guy out of the fucking... Giuliani's trying to fucking, not get people out of the rubble so we can get the gold out of under Building 7, I think it was. There was gold under Building 7. They got that before they got the people, which I get. If you're gonna be a cynical dick leader, yeah, I get it. It's fucked up. It's a weird move, but I get it. I get what you're doing. You're a bad guy. Point is, yeah. You don't need to have a fucking lockdown pattern here. You don't need to know exactly what the reason, why wouldn't they not infect kids with the disease if they want to put the vaccine in their mouth and suck the kids off, because look, the Catholic Church is crazy evil and they would do that, and I can't tell you why. We'll figure out why. We'll see the pattern as it develops. But I'm saying now is, looks sketchy, right? Why Easter? It's a very Catholic thing. The Protestants celebrate Easter? I'm not sure. Because there is no rationale. Easter, what did he comes back from the dead. He comes back from... Maybe they'll resurrect these. No, that'd be too much. That would be fun, though. If, they resurrected all the kids that they murdered. That would be a fun Easter treat. Hey, we murdered these kids because they were going to rat on us for fucking them. But now here they are, and they're brainwashed and they're lobotomized. It's not going to be... It's all going to be smoke and mirror, right? They haven't developed the ability to, They probably just, shoved, some kind of chemical, Clorox into their fucking brainstem. And they've been, they're like Terry Schiavo now. The Catholic Church fucks kids. Unequivocally. Every priest it's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but 3 degrees and everyone's Kevin Bacon. It's just bad. But they're going to try to rebrand on Easter by curing, is it COVID-19? I think COVID-19 is a disease and coronavirus is a novel. There's a lot of coronaviruses. This is a novel one. I don't know. We never heard coronavirus before this. Is influenza a coronavirus? I mean, is swine flu a coronavirus? The people love to get smug about this, and I guarantee you, they're idiots. People are getting smug. People are going yeah, actually, it's this. Shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking filth mouth, you Twitter idiot. Fucking, you gonna smug. I mean, I'm not saying say Chinese flu like an asshole, but oh, it's not coronavirus. I will fucking get fisted on live television if you say that again for money. I'll come to your house and I'll fucking put a bullet in my ass. How about that? Why don't you focus on what's really happening? The Catholic Church. Now, here's the fucking thing. They probably, it's a good chance that it won't work. That they'll fucking... And that's how conspiracies go too. It's that's always the fun thing about this. It's anytime you try to predict a conspiracy, they put it into the water, but they didn't realize that the strain had mutated, and so they couldn't, and they could no longer cure it with their dicks. But there's always an answer, right? But I'm saying, look, this is what you wait for. You wait for something real. You wait for something that makes some kind of sense. Because why would they want us all put in our homes? If they want us all in our homes, then we don't really serve a purpose. If they were really going to, I am not saying that they wouldn't use this opportunity to, take rights away from us. I mean, they don't need to wait for a pandemic. They did, 9/11 was a much smaller scale thing, and they got the Patriot Act through and subsequent versions and subsequent things. Look, it ain't great. It's never great. And, anytime there's bipartisan approval for anything, it's bad. Iraq War, Patriot Act. It's all bad news. A lot of the stuff you don't even hear about because it's just fucking, it flies under the radar. And if it fails the first time, it passes the second time when no one's looking, like the Federal Reserve Act back in 1917, 1914 or 17, one of those two. I think it was 17. Point is, it failed the first time, and then they fucking came in like on Christmas Eve or some shit when everyone wasn't there, and they just passed it through under a different name. It was great. So the point is, they're gonna pass some bad shit, and they're gonna lock more of her. But what would be the point of like just making it stay indefinitely in our homes? I've always been of the opinion that when you start, because here's the thing, when you start looking at conspiracy, what we call conspiracy, which most times is just reality. I mean, if you're an Alex Jones fan, and look, the guy's the most talented guy in the world, seriously, like he's great, but it casts a very wide net, which that's not my style. I'm not a wide net conspiracy guy, right? Try to look at try to stay grounded in the facts, because there's enough there. There's enough there. There's so much there. I mean, within that is a network of fucking rich pedophiles and an intelligence agency that uses blackmails them with with the mafia, and they killed Kennedy. Like all this stuff's in there. You don't need this weird cacophony of the thermite paint and the chips and the fucking this and that and the fucking just these weird. I mean, I'm just saying, stay focused on what you got. Like, don't try to be. This isn't fucking grade school with a band. I remember when we got into music in grade school, and I was with a group of friends, and I tried to everyone I guess we were into Green Day at the time, and then there was Rancid, and there was fucking the Toadies were cool, and then I wanted to have a band that I found, introduce people to, and then they got Space Hog. I like Space Hog. I don't know that one song. That album wasn't bad. But you hear it on the radio, and it's like, bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum. And when you say, I don't know. In the meantime, it's not the greatest thing. But I forced it. And that's what you're doing sometimes. You're forcing a conspiracy not even where it doesn't belong, but the wrong one. Stop trying to, you don't get credit for being the first one to believe horse shit. This is real. The Catholic Church did all of this. I mean, it's not the worst thing they've done by far. If they've done it, which they have, in my opinion. Can they sue me? I mean, they'll probably just have me killed. But I was an altar boy. I'm a Catholic altar boy. I was the altar boy for years. It wasn't fucked, but doesn't surprise. I mean, I'm not one of these guys who goes, "Hey, no one fucked me. Didn't happen." No, it's there's an evidence here. This isn't the white wall of silence. And I say white because, I wore those white garments. It wasn't a white race thing. But, the blue wall of silence. It's not the altar wall of silence. Point is, the Catholic Church will blunder this, but they're probably behind it. You don't get credit for trying to claim that I've never understood what's the fucking thing. What's the goddamn angle? We don't serve a purpose if we're just staying in our house. Why wouldn't they just kill us? That's the thing. I have no problem believing that they would just depopulate the earth at some point. I don't think they're better than that. I'm not a fucking half-measured conspiracy guy. But you try to empathize with these people. All right, if they do run these networks, which they do seem to do, by a cacophony of evidence. How many times have I said cacophony today? Too many times. A lot of evidence. And all right, so what's the angle here? Why are they doing? You try to figure out, well, if they do this, why do they do this? I mean, so much of it happens to be pedophilia. It seems like, which is bizarre. The most crazy. It's crazy how much of it revolves around that. It's their sex life is their whole life. Even if you accepted pedophilia, it's if a politician was this much of a pussy hound, you wouldn't tolerate it. You go, Kennedy was fucking people, but women, but I don't think these people just seem to be obsessed with sex. And on top of that, it's pedophilia, which is the worst. But even if it wasn't pedophilia, it'd be put your pants on. I mean, for real. You have to get quote unquote laid because I say it's rape, it's child rape, but If that's your thing, why does it have to be so goddamn often? Can't you relax? I spent years not fucking. Relax. And also don't fuck kids. But like, even if you, I mean, there's no way to phrase this without sounding, but like, if like, at the very least, could you fuck less? Jesus. So that's the thing. So much was united by that. But yeah, the Catholic Church, again, another situation where it's just, the pedophilia is running the cart leading the horse. So you heard it here first. Probably. I haven't heard it anywhere else. And honestly, you heard the best version of it. If someone else is talking about the Catholic Church doing it, it's probably some bullshit about, they're probably some Protestant who like just hates the Catholic Church. And it's like, you're not better than them. You still believe in this bullshit. I don't understand I don't get the instinct to be like, oh, these guys are full of shit. They're trying to, like, because the whole Martin Luther thing. How do you go? Oh God, how do you? If you're not familiar with Martin Luther, basically the main idea. I mean, I'm probably not that familiar either to a Luther expert, but he was a Catholic priest or a monk, somewhere in Germany, and there was the issue of, I mean, he was getting fed up with the corruption. They cite, at least in the school history that I read. I mean, I should probably read a full biography of the guy, but there was the plenary indulgences. The point is, you could pay if you were rich. You could pay to get into heaven. You could pay to get dispensations, and he's like, this is bullshit. This is corrupt. This can't be God's thing. Yeah, I'm sure I get that. Like, this church is so corrupt. And he hammered his 99 theses, theories, or whatever they call them, but theses, onto the door of the church. And I guess eventually started I'm not sure when he started his own church. But my point is, so you realize you devoted your life to a weird, corrupt organization. He probably knew they were fucking kids. They don't mention that in the school text that we read. But he probably also saw them fucking kids. Let's be honest, that's probably what Martin Luther got really pissed about. It's like, you're making people buy their way into heaven? That's bad. But also, can you stop fucking that child? Gee, what is that? What am I a part of? Here's the weird thing, though. You didn't go, oh, maybe this is all fake. Maybe this is all a weird, dark society that we've hoodwinked people into, and we're just doing all this awful shit, and this is all a scam. No. It's like, oh, you guys are corrupt, but this wizard, blood into wine, shove your fist me with your hand to prove I'm alive guy, that's real. That's all. That's all well and good. Now, if you're a believer, I'm not trying to hammer you down and say you don't believe, but you got to admit, like, it's a weird thing to have that moment. It's easy to get disillusioned, right? And to be disillusioned, as you devote your life to the church, and you become so disillusioned by this rampant corruption, but you still believe in. It's hard to look. They call it a gift. Faith. It's called a gift. I went to Catholic school. They referred to it as a gift. I never understood why. I think I get it more now because, like, a lot of people just go, "No, this is dumb." Like, the gift is being that go. Like, it's a gift to them to be it's like being a rube or a mark, a legitimate mark. So it's a gift to them. Yeah, so it's a strange combination to be like that disillusioned, but then to also be like, I'm just going to start my own church to pray to the wizard. I mean, like, that, it's a strange thing. But, this is, so, I don't know if I put much stock in people, because of that, and there's also the English version with Henry VIII and the whole Church of England. I don't know if it all revolves around the wives, but, Anne Boleyn or whatever the fuck. I mean, it's definitely a part of it. I mean, it's definitely what's spirited off, but it's probably tension rising. There's always tension preceding these things. My point is, so the Catholic Church gets, like, a rap from the Protestants, but it seems to be more like, because of the Pope, and, we don't take orders from Rome, and, like, all this shit. Like, yeah, but they fuck kids. And can we agree that that's the bad thing? Not that there's a Pope, and he's just kind of, his wand has too much gold on it. Like, that's not great. It's a little ostentatious. It's a little gauche. But can we agree that the fact that he's, at the very least, systematically enabling pedophiles, if not being one himself, is a little bit worse than the ghost wand or the hat. Am I the only one? It's like me and like 5 guys on Twitter who agree with me, but also like are just, like me, they're very, we all look sketchy. Why is it that the people who look the most sketchy, the most vocal about, like, stop fucking kids? Why is it like, I guess because people realize that, once you get more of a stake in society, it just becomes, because do I think it's going to stop? It doesn't seem like it. And now this fucking this Catholic Church fake vaccine theory I made up goes their way. Definitely doesn't seem like it. But yeah, they got Epstein. That shit went, that went away. So I don't know. You think that more legitimate people, there's a guy in that movie, The Spotlight, who was, Stanley Tucci played him. But even as a lawyer, he was still kind of, he was a sketchy, lawyer. He was respectable. Much less sketchy than me. He had an office and a suit, and he wasn't fat, and whatever. He worked hard, wasn't lazy, and probably was able to say R words correctly without getting fisted. But my point is, amongst lawyers, he wasn't like a hype. They cut to Billy Crudup or whatever at one point, and he's like a guy who's, I forget what his deal in that movie. If you haven't seen Spotlight, it's a great movie. It takes place in 2001, and it's the fucking Boston Globe team. They won the Oscar. I explain Oscar-winning movies to you. Go watch Spotlight. Point is, Billy Crudup was a little bit complicit, it seems like. And he's in a nice suit, and he's good-looking. I get it's also Hollywood's how they make it. But I've looked the guys up. They look, it tracks. So my point is, when you see a sketchy guy, maybe that's an ally. Or maybe it's a homeless guy. He'll stab you. I don't know. There's no pattern to the world. We're not going to, it doesn't fit in a bow, So that's that. That's where we're at in this world. So are we going to be cured? I want to make one thing clear. We're not going to be cured. This is going to go bad. The Catholic Church might just get cold feet about curing people. Like, man, maybe we just let them die. Why? And they have reasons. They like, it's probably good for business. It's probably great for, you would think it'd be bad for business. You think it'd be like, well, why am I going to pray to a God? He let coronavirus, kill my grandma. But look, it doesn't work on me, but it seems to work on so many people. No, it's because you weren't paying enough attention to God. All right, so why do you only kill old people? People who probably are more statistically likely to die of this. Or, no, but also more statistically, likely to be religious. Yeah, it's punishment for you. It's a test. It's always a test. It's always a goddamn test. So they'll spin it their way. But they'll probably just let people die. If I know the Pope, and I'm pretty sure I do, he's happy to let a few million people die. And he'll call it a day. So stay inside. It's a real virus. Anyone thinks it's not real. Here's the thing. If it wasn't real, and I'm open-minded. I'm always open-minded. I'm always hear people out. Some of that, I just miss these conspiracies, and it seems quick, but because it sounds dumb. But I'll always hear you out. And if you told me the nurses were lying on Twitter and the news, I'd hear you out. I don't think they are. That's the only way. Because there's no way to say it's not really happening. Because there's if you believe any of the accounts, it's no, these hospitals are overrun with fucking. They're like Calcutta, like fucking the end of the world. These people are just dying, and they have to let people die. And it's just terrible. So there's no angle here where it's it's like the flu. It's not look, I'm not sure. I don't know all the reasons why, right? But the flu doesn't overrun the healthcare industry, the hospitals, the way they're being overrun in this crisis. There's no they're building, the Army Corps of Engineers is laying waste to God knows what in New York City because they're going to be building 8,000 new beds, hospital beds. They fucking they turned the Javits Center into a fucking hospital with 1,000 beds, I think. Just a tremendous amount of extra capacity, which we never have. So I don't know what I don't know what the argument is. The whole point of staying inside is not that you don't get it. It's very likely that most people will get it or not. But I think there's estimates that 80% of New Yorkers might get it. You just can't all get it at once. That's the whole thing. You can't. If you get it all at once, then like a lot of people need to go to the hospital. Like most young people won't die if they're treated. If they're treated, now a lot of young people will get it. It'll be like a flu, or like bad cold sometimes even. But there's plenty. Look, statistically, it's like a smaller percentage of young people. There's plenty of young people who get it and need to be treated. It gets bad, and it could be you. Like healthy people, otherwise, maybe, or, whatever. I don't know. I mean, point is, there's plenty of amount. It's not statistically as much, but there's still a lot. There's a lot of people getting exposed to it. So, it's if the hospitals are overrun, that's the main thing. Now, are we gonna seize up economically if we stay inside for? I don't know that everyone's gonna have to stay inside for 6 months. I mean, New York might be longer because look at it. The subway. There's no way this thing wasn't gonna spread if it got here. If they didn't do something quick. I mean, if they did the right thing quicker, sure. If they prepped this thing 2 months ago, had a test ready, sure, it's possible. But the point is, without that, and now you fucking have, the subways, Grand Central. But it's not everyone who lives here. It is that. But it's also the amount of people, the sheer volume of people who come in and out every day normally. Penn Station, Grand Central, all the subways then. I mean, there's millions of people moving around in these dense areas. I mean, honestly, if you're not from New York, you've never been to New York, you've been in like a rush hour subway, it's crammed together. You can't, people are squeezing into their cars. There's no space. I mean, you can often ride a subway and not be in that position, but if you're doing it in rush hour, which I try to avoid. I never had one of those Manhattan jobs where I had to take a subway in rush hour. And I work in Brooklyn, and the J train, it was still like 9 a.m. about then, and it was pretty way closer than you want to be right now. It wasn't social distancing at all. It was sometimes pretty packed. But there was like 6 trains, and there's 1 train's just mashed together. So of course this thing's gonna spread. And of course we're probably gonna need more time or whatever. But is the whole nation gonna need to whatever, like for 6 months? I don't know. Let's take a look in 2 months, but let's agree to Easter. Let's not play into the Catholic Church's hands, is all I'm saying. Let's not let them have their way. Let's not let them have their moment. The Catholic Church hasn't earned it. They have a lot of money. Let them what are they donating? I'm sure they always donate money, but where is it? How about they just, if they publicly agree to stop fighting to like shorten the statute of limitations, or at the very least fight to have it increased in cases of sexual assault, maybe we'll talk about Easter. But are we really going to do this? We're going to get out of a quarantine to celebrate a holiday for these people who it's a church who fights to have the statute of limitations for sexual assault, look, child rape, increased. No, we're already in the dystopia. It's already bad. I don't know how much worse. It'll get a lot worse. But I mean, why you don't need to dig that deep. They're the problem, or one of them. Don't get me wrong, the United States of America is a big problem. But, we don't need to, come up with, I mean, China, look, they're not great. They have a lot of human rights problems. It's a totalitarian state. Were they lying about all this? Maybe. There's articles out there where, there's 20 million people deactivated their cell phones or accounts or whatever in the past year. Not past year, I'm sorry. No, it's in the past month. And, and people are saying that because they have much bigger coronavirus epidemic than they claim. I don't buy it per se. I mean, the article I saw was in the fucking Falun Gong newspaper, and you could argue why spread it if I don't believe it. I don't know. I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out there. I've seen these things. It seems thin. I'm open to it. I'm like, wait, what is that? I mean, I don't know the amount of people who come in and out of China every fucking day and fucking who don't or not doing that now or weren't doing that for a while. It's like it's a lot of variables here. You also just don't know the fluctuation rate. Maybe these are the kind of things where sometimes you just don't know. You look at that and go, oh shit, and then if you look at sometimes there's actually facts where you go, well, actually in February it always dips down by that because of this Harvest Festival. I'm just saying it's not that, but I'm saying there's stuff you don't know. There's a lot of, I mean, Rumsfeld was a killer, but a professional killer. But he was still a bad guy. But he had that whole exchange he had, where it's, look, there's things we know. There's things we know we don't know. There's things we don't know we don't know. There's things we know we know. Things we know we don't know. Things we don't know we don't know we know. And things we don't know we don't know. And that's the big one. And yeah. He maybe it's just his cadence. But it sounded better when he said it. People gave him a lot of shit for it, but I always liked that the whole exchange. Because yeah, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know. There's things out there. There's other variables. But we do know the Catholic Church. Bad guys. And I'm ready to put the blame on. Look, why not just use this? Don't let a good crisis go to waste. Let's finally make them pay for the raping. We know they rape people. Just epic numbers. Epic. They're putting up Wilt Chamberlain. If Wilt Chamberlain fucked kids, they would have fucked more. I mean, he's one guy, but he fucked a lot of women. The reference might not play. He wrote an autobiography where he fucked a ton of women. I think he died. But he's one of the best of all time in the NBA. Is he alive? He might be alive. I think he's dead. But he claimed to fuck 20,000 women, 40,000 women, something crazy. Catholic Church puts him to shame with children, not women. I mean, look, they don't take those vows at all seriously. So, like, there's heterosexual priests who fuck women who we're not supposed to. But, like, you know, I don't give a... Oh, you're breaking your secret vow with the bullshit. Oh, I don't give a fuck. I mean, if I was a Catholic, I might. But, like, you know, I mean, I was raised that way. But I can't imagine giving a shit about that. You're not going to let women be priests, but you don't let priests fuck kids. That's who we're dealing with. They won't let women be priests because they can't fuck kids. Like, that, there's got to be a secret text that we don't know about where it's like literally the point. This is literally the point of the church. It's not something that we have to, they have to, like the Pope has to stamp out in his point of view. It's like, how do I get you off my back? Because if we get rid of this, there won't be a church anymore. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why these rituals exist. And by rituals, I mean kid fuck. I don't know. It's just it's so rampant. It can't be an accident. It can't be an outlier. So focus on that. So it's been great this week. Thank you for joining us again. Glad to have you here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RayCump. Sign up for the Patreon if you want to hear extra episodes. Every Monday, there'll be the Patreon episode. We also have the Kump Dump tier, a little more of a donation. And I think next week we'll start doing episodes for that. Probably monthly. I don't know. I gotta look into it. Point is, and also sometimes more, weekly. It's a fun experience, and the Patreon episodes are great. They're really good. I should put some more, trailers out there or clips because they're good. They're as good as these. They're great. I like them. The show's gotten better, and the Patreon episodes have gotten better. Like, this show used to be a little more rough. A lot of it's just fucking mic stand. I love having my hands free again. I sit in the closet before, just holding a fucking microphone like a dick, which is fine, but just not for this. I need to have my hands abounding. So yeah, go sign up for the Patreon. Or just, whatever. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to this if you're not subscribed for some reason, but you're listening anyway. If you're listening on YouTube, go subscribe on the fucking other thing. Whatever. Just get it all mixed together. It's fun. It's a lot of fun that way. Also, go listen to Our Love is Disgusting. It's another podcast I do with Lucy Steiner, my girlfriend and lover, and comedic genius. It's a great podcast. It's really, really funny. You should go listen to it. And I'm saying it as well. I don't know why more. We're going to change the picture soon. It's a little aggressive. If you don't the logo, whatever. We'll get on top of that. But it's a great podcast. Give it a listen. It's great. I'm surprised more. Look at the numbers comparatively. More of you guys should listen to that too. I mean, I know you got a lot of podcasts out there, but if you like this, you're gonna like that. I mean, I'm on that. I'm a big part of it. And Lucy's also very, very funny. It's not about a relationship. I mean, some of it sometimes, but in a very aggressive way. I'm not going to plead with you. It's fucking great. I mean, you're going to feel like an idiot once you finally hear it. People who like it, like it. They love it. People who like it, love it. People who like it are okay with it. What an idiot. People who like it, tolerate it. No, people who like it, love it. So get on board. So Our Love is Disgusting. Sign up for the Patreon. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go after the Catholic Church. Start yelling at priests. Tell them, go back inside. Stop fucking my family. Stop fucking my family's kids. So, yeah, enjoy. I'll see you guys next week, or if you're on the Patreon in a couple of days, have a great weekend.